Sky Sports?
I can hear you, yeah. Hi.
Fantastic. Great to see you, Graham. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
You picked up your first win in 5 against Leeds, which leaves Brighton on their best ever points tally at this stage of a Premier League campaign. How much of a lift has that given to you and the players and the club in this final stage of the season?
Well, as you can imagine, it's always nice to win, and we were frustrated with our performance against Sheffield United, even though it wasn't a disastrous performance. It's that we lose 1-0 in a game that we could have quite easily got something from, and it was important to respond, and I think the players did that fantastically, really good. As I've said many a times, our performances this season have been good, but we haven't got the points that we think our performances could have got, so that leaves a sense of frustration, and I think it was important that we got the points against Leeds, and now we're looking forward to finishing the season off as strongly as we can.
A win this weekend would confirm safety in the Premier League and another season of top flight football. How big an incentive is that for you and the boys?
Well, it's massive. Any game provides that opportunity to get 3 points, which is huge in the Premier League, and we're excited about where we are. We're excited about finishing. There's a feeling of positivity, and we want to finish off as strongly as we can. As you've said, we're not mathematically safe. We need to carry on fighting. We don't want to rely on anybody else. We want to get the points ourselves, and that's where the focus will be at the weekend.
Looking ahead to the game against Wolves and the Brighton team news, what's the latest with Adam Lallana, who's had a calf problem, and do you have any other concerns over your players?
No, the game's probably going to come a little soon for Adam. He's been out in the grass, but it'll probably be more West Ham for him, I think. But nothing else from the game at the weekend.
In terms of Wolves, perhaps they've not been as effective or picked up as many points as they have in previous seasons. Can you identify perhaps why you don't think they've been as clinical, as dangerous? They've picked up just 2 wins in their last 8. They've lost 3 of their last 4 at home as well. So they're going through a tricky spell. Yeah,
but you see the injuries that they've had to key players. I think they've a little bit of a transition, period. I think, like any team, that the quality is there. You can see the quality, but they've just missed some key players throughout the season, and that can destabilise you when you go, especially when you're trying to transition some younger players into the team. Sometimes you get performances, but you don't get the results. But when the likes of Jimenez, any team in the Premier League would miss a centre forward of the quality of Jimenez, for example. So I think they've suffered from that. Previously, they got great success by being really stable in terms of picking the same 11 and having a really good understanding of the team. And when you have some problems, it's not as straightforward to do that. So, but credit to them, they've still got the points. They're still clear of any danger, and they've still got some really, really good players. And Nuno is a fantastic coach, so they've managed the season well. And I'm sure when you compare it to what they've done previously, not as well, but still that's football as well. That's the challenge of the game.
In terms of the quality that Wolves had, you mentioned that some of the players, and despite the injuries, where do you think they could be dangerous for you this weekend?
Well, as I said, they still do a lot of the things well that they've done previously. So transition, they're really strong. Traore is a real handful for any defence in the Premier League, and then they've got some exciting young players that can attack and produce from not too much. So they've got that quality. And at the same time, with Cody, good experience, Neves, there's the same elements of what got them to where they were last season, which was a top Premier League team, European, competing in competitions. So no, it's going to be a tough game.
Paul Barber's done an interview this week in the media where he spoke about your future and speculation linking you with the Tottenham job. He said there's been no approach, you're not expecting an approach, and there's absolutely no way that he would allow you to leave Brighton at the moment. First of all, how nice is it that you are linked with these bigger jobs? And what does it say about what you're building in terms of a project at Brighton that the chief exec is so keen to keep you down on the South Coast and keep you a part of of what you're trying to do?
I think that's the challenge of being a football coach. Certainly in the modern day, there's speculation, positive and negative. It was only a few months ago I was answering questions about whether I had the support of the chairman. So you've got to take these things with a pinch of salt. My focus is on here, on doing as well as I can. I feel I have the support of the board, the players, the staff. We're in a really exciting moment, I think, in terms of we've done a lot of work, and we want to carry on that on. We haven't finished anything here. There's a lot to do, and I'm really happy here. So it's nice to hear Paul say that, but he doesn't have to. But yeah, it's nice.
And finally, from me, just a quick word on Danny Welbeck, who's been important for you over the course of the last 6 games. He's picked up 3 goals. He's 1 goal away from 50 Premier League goals. How much would you like to keep him at Brighton for perhaps a longer term? Is there discussions about a new contract? And how important has he been at this stage of the season with his experience?
I think, like you say, I mean, he's in a really good moment. Now, I think he's enjoying his football. He looks in training, he looks like he's like an 18-year-old. Like just influencing the game, influencing training, enjoying himself. And I think that's the most important thing. And as I said before, we'll sit down at the end of the season and find try and find the right solution. But for us, or for me as a head coach, it's about, is Danny enjoying his football? Does he feel comfortable here? Is he enjoying it? Is it getting the best out of him? And if the answer is yes, then we've got a good chance that in the summer we can find the right solution.
Thanks, Graham. All the best.
Cheers.
Hi, Graham. Anne-Marie from PLP. How's training been this week? How have the preparations gone?
No, it's been good, really good. Had a really good training session this morning. Fantastic weather, blue sky. Boys were happy, working hard, focused. They want to finish the season strongly. We want to get points. We want to show what we can do. Keep the quality going. So yeah, it's good. But the challenge in the Premier League is to back up something. We've had a good performance against Leeds and a good win, and the challenge is to back it up.
You talk about finishing the season strongly. Of course, Brighton finished 13th back in the season of 81 and 82. You're pretty close to that now. Do you think you could go beyond 13th?
Well, who knows? I mean, the key thing is you just sounds simple. It's about picking up points, and we have to focus on that against Wolves. Like I said, we're excited for the finish. We're excited for the game the weekend. We're in a good place, but at the same time, yeah, we know it's another game. We have to start again, back up a good performance against Leeds. But the boys are in good spirits, and we'll fight and we'll do our best.
It is also probably a good omen that Brighton haven't lost any away league game against Wolves since April 2006.
Okay, I didn't know that. Unfortunately, you don't get anything from those stats. We have to earn the victory against another team, so that's what we'll do. I remember the last time we played there at Molineux, it was a tight match. I think it was 0-0. So always tough games against Wolves, but like I said, we're looking forward to it. We'll go there with confidence, with positivity, and we'll do our best.
Do Brighton also need to be a little bit wary of Wolves? Because Mark mentioned about the loss of form that the team is experiencing at the moment. They could possibly still be smarting from the results from the Burnley game as well as the game against West Brom.
I think you've got to watch. It's like, as I said, you in the Premier League, every game starts. It starts from the start, and you've got to. Doesn't matter what happened last week. It doesn't matter what's the previous couple of weeks. Everyone fights for the points from the start. Like you say, the disappointing result in the last home match, but then I think they had an improved performance and improved result against West Brom in a derby match, which was important for them to get. So, I mean, I can't comment on Wolves necessarily in terms of where they're at. I expect a tough match, and we have to focus on ourselves, try and be as good as we can be.
And finally, from me, can you just give us a little bit of insight into the partnership between Ben White and Lewis Dunk, how strong they've been for you over the last few weeks?
Well, I think they've been really important, but I think they'll be the first to say there's been a really good defensive unit and a team defensive performance as well that helps. They've contributed to how we're attacking as well as they've contributed to how we're defending. I think they've taken steps as the season's gone on. They've been really important. You can tell that by the amount of minutes they've played. Two guys that understand the club, understand what we're trying to do, and they've been great to work with.
Thanks, Graham.
Cheers.
Hi, Graham.
Hello.
Hi. If I can just ask you one more question about Danny Welbeck. What's impressed you the most about him this season?
Well, I think on the pitch he's got actions that are high-end Premier League level. He the goal that he scored against Leeds, we see stuff like that pretty regularly in terms of how he can finish and his quality to affect the final third. So that's been really, really good. And then as a guy, as a man, he's well respected. He's well respected in the dressing room. Well liked, conducts himself in a really, really good way that you'd expect a top player to do, and he does that really well. So he's a great example for everyone, and especially for the younger players about how to be. So yeah, on and off the pitch, he's been really really positive.
Mm-hmm. Lewis Dunk was mentioned earlier. Adam Webster, he gave an interview with TalkSport earlier this week, and he said that he felt Lewis Dunk would be in the England squad if he played for a bigger club. Do you agree with this?
Well, it's you can't say it's a hypothetical situation. I mean, as I've said before, it's Gareth's job to pick who he thinks is the right players and people for his group, and we respect that. At the same time, we're delighted with Lewis, delighted with what he's done, delighted with how he is with us. He's been a fantastic player and a captain for me. I couldn't have asked for anything more for him. We came at a period of transition. He was taken over from Bruno as the captain, and he's taken it over really, really well. He's been open-minded, he's done his best, taken everything on board, and it's nice to see him again enjoying his football.
And Paul Barber, he said that there's no pressure on the club to sell any of their best players. Have you been given an idea about what the transfer budget will be this summer?
No, we don't think about it in those terms. I think we've got some plans and we've got some ideas, but all that we're doing at the moment is all I'm doing at the moment is focusing on the remaining matches. We play Wolves at the weekend. That's where my focus is. But all the time we're working behind the scenes to make sure that when the next window closes, we're in a stronger position than we were at the start of it, and that'll always be the case.
Mm-hmm. There are lots of reports that Shane Duffy has ended his loan from Celtic early. Are they true?
Yes, yeah. Shane's training with us. He trained with us this morning, so only lightly. So he's back here with us, which is great to see him.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, how is he? Because obviously, unfortunately for him, it's not really worked out at Celtic. Is he sort of feeling okay?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's had a tough time, I would say. I think he's had sometimes in football things don't go as you want them to go, and Shane's had some tough challenges off the pitch. Losing his father not just before he went to Celtic is a huge challenge for him, as you can imagine. So he's had to deal with a lot. And he, more than anybody, would have liked it to have worked out better than it did up at Celtic. But that's football. From our perspective, he's always welcome here. He's been a fantastic servant to this club, well liked in the dressing room, well respected. So it's important for us now to help him, to get him back on his feet, so to speak, and to put him in an environment where he feels secure and enjoying his football, and that's what we'll try to do for the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, sort of looking long term, like next season, can you see him being a part of your plans?
Well, I think he's like quite a few guys that we have to sit down and plan and see where everybody's at, because some players, they feel that they need to go and play, and some players, are happy being here. So we have to make sure we make the right calls for the players and the club. But now's not the time to really think about that. It's just a time to finish off the season well, to do as much as we can, to fight for the points. And Shane will just be training with us, and we'll be supporting the guys like he does all the time. He's a fantastic team member like that. So it's nice to have him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks, Graham.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. Just staying in Scotland, actually, there's a few reports linking Albion with Hibernian, and a club that maybe you could send some of your youngsters up there, and a sort of informal link. Is there anything you could tell us about that?
I understand there's been discussions, Johnny, but I wouldn't want to elaborate any further. I think there is, but yeah, my focus has been on the Premier League and winning points. So if you forgive me.
Yeah, for sure. Just in terms of Wolves, that 3-3, we've had so many different exciting, dramatic events this season. Where does that one rank then?
Yeah, I agree with you. We have, and that wasn't I wouldn't say as positive as one as I would remember. I think it was a strange game. I must say, we were 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden found ourselves 3-1 down. Not a great performance from us, but not really bad. We just really punished from a couple of things, and that can happen. I think it was probably one of those games where you're happy there's not a crowd in, because at half time 3-1 down you're probably getting a few choice words. But fair play to the players, they responded so well. Got a penalty early, got back into the game, probably should have won the game, but in the end could have lost it in the last action. So it was one of those games that you don't want to, as a coach, you don't want to have them too many times.
And what about their manager, Nuno Espirito Santo? I mean, what about the achievement that he has done since he's been at that football club? I know they've got an infrastructure there as well, but it's never easy. He's taken them up, he's kept them up, he's taken them to Europe. It's so impressive. Yeah,
absolutely. Progressed all the time. I think this season's the one season where it's been a challenge for them, because for different reasons, but mostly injuries to key players, and I think because of what they've done transfer-wise, a bit of transition. As I said before, when you're having young players, they have the talent, but you have to help them in the process of being a regular performer in the Premier League. But as I said before, they've had problems, but they're still out of trouble. They've dealt with it well, and I think that's credit to Nuno and his staff. Very calm, professional, high quality people that even if you talk about before this season, fantastic progression of a football club, and then this season I think a calm management of a tricky situation. So yeah, very, very impressed with them.